is 27 News First at 6.
He says it will put unemployed Americans back to work. President Obama uses a Kentucky bridge to push for his jobs bill.
It's become a prime target for thieves, but how much is the copper in AC units actually worth? What a 27 News First investigation found out.
One person is dead after a home explodes in Stanton. 27 News First at 6 starts now.
Good evening to you, and thanks for being here with us. Smoke and flames shot high into the air. An explosion leveled a central Kentucky home, killing one person and leaving two others badly injured.
Firefighters from several counties rushed to a home on Paint Creek Road near Stanton in Powell County after the explosion this morning. The fire caused by the blast is still burning hours after the blast. Officer Don got this exclusive video from 27 Sky First. Melissa Adizade talked to neighbors who watched the horrific scene unfold. It's our top story at 6.
Scattered brick and window paints are all that is left of a house after an explosion levels it to the ground, killing one person inside. It was a blast that could be heard from miles away.
I was in my house and all I heard was a boom, and I woke up and I was like, what in the world?
And a rumble that mimicked an earthquake.
We heard it was like an earthquake on my house. We were in the house and everything moved here.
Vicki Hatton lives next door. She didn't want to go on camera, but she did describe for us what she saw when she ran outside to see what caused the massive explosion.
You know, we went to see what was going on, and that's whenever we saw the house was gone and the roof was down on it.
And Hatton says she realized very quickly that she couldn't see the house because it was no longer there.
Oh, you couldn't see. You couldn't see the house. It was just mostly dust, you know, and the flames. That was it.
But she did see one thing.
The ambulance took two out. That's all we saw.
Those two people were the only survivors of the blast. They were airlifted to UK Hospital with critical injuries. Another person was trapped inside and unable to get out. Those close to the family tell us it was an elderly man who lived at the home. Witnesses at the scene say the blast was caused by a propane tank. Crews from 5 different counties were out here earlier today trying to fight the fire. They say they will be out here for a few hours to try to figure out what exactly happened. In Stanton, Melissa Adizade, WKYT 27 News First.
We will have a follow-up story tonight on News First at 11. The names of those victims have not been released so far, and authorities say they're still investigating what caused the explosion.
He called an example of why his jobs bill should be passed in Congress. President Obama stood in front of an aging bridge linking Cincinnati and northern Kentucky today and targeted two prominent Republicans. The Brent Spence Bridge crosses between the home turfs of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky and House Speaker John Boehner of Ohio. Our Andy Cunningham was the only Lexington reporter in Cincinnati to cover the president's visit.
With the Brent Spence Bridge as his backdrop, the president came here with a confident message. This Jobs Act bill will pass, and this bridge in particular will receive the attention it so desperately needs.
And it's in such poor condition that it's been labeled functionally obsolete.
Just 2 weeks after addressing Congress about the American Jobs Act bill that would spur new jobs and repair the nation's aging infrastructure like the Brent Spence Bridge, President Obama brought his plan to our own backyard.
There is work to be done, and there are workers ready to do it. So let's tell Congress to pass this jobs bill right away.
Calling it one of the most important interstate bridges in the country, Brent Spence, designed to carry 85,000 vehicles a day, now carries more than 160,000.
It's a little bit alarming just because the bridge is so old and outdated.
Sarah Little makes the 1-hour commute from Lexington to Cincinnati nearly every day for work, crossing the very bridge the president calls functionally obsolete.
My biggest concern would just be that there's nowhere to go if you break down or have an accident, and I've, certainly had near misses with accidents on the bridge myself.
And Little says she supports the president's bill or anything that will make her commute from Lexington to Cincinnati a safer one. From downtown Cincinnati, Andy Cunningham, WKYT 27 News First.
Before his speech, the president met with Governor Beshear and Senator Rand Paul to talk about the Sherman-Minton Bridge in Louisville. That bridge closed a few weeks ago after a crack was found in a support beam.
A woman facing a reckless homicide charge for the death of a young girl has turned herself in. Julie Reese's family says she didn't know she had a warrant for her arrest until seeing the story on 27 News First at noon. Reese is the godmother of 12-year-old Sierra Hubbard, who died in June after being run over by a van in Lexington. Police say Hubbard was walking by the van as Reese drove it. As Hubbard tried to get in, police say she fell into the van's path. The coroner says she died of blunt force trauma.
Well, we had a break today from the rain and dreary weather, but don't expect it to last long. Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck joins us now with an early look at your forecast.
Yeah, did being the collective word here, because we've already had a few isolated showers, which was expected given the fact that that frontal system is still around the area. But we will pick up the coverage and begin to cool things down, it looks like, into Friday. Live First Alert Defender still seeing that cluster of showers and storms down across southern Kentucky, but other than that, looking pretty quiet. The isolated cells here in the metro area beginning to weaken out. Pretty good finish to the final day of summer with sunshine around, but some heavy rain still in between Barberville and Williamsburg and back around Monticello. That moisture streaming up from the south. You see a larger area of rain back across parts of western Indiana and southern Illinois, and the clouds more scattered about, but I really think those are going to increase a little later on in the evening. Temperatures, again, for the final day of summer, pretty good. 77 Lexington, Frankfort, 77 in Jackson, 75 down in London. That cooler air not far off, and it may hang a while because of that upper low heading this direction. We'll tell you more about it coming up.
All right, we'll see you then, TG. Thank you. A group of repairmen spent much of the day at a church hit hard by copper thieves. Pat Jewett with Heating and Air fixed the damage at Berea Christian Church in Lexington. Last weekend, thieves tried to take copper from an air conditioning unit by pulling it off its foundation. That damaged the unit itself and the church building as well. Jewett says copper thieves have kept his workers busy this summer.
We've been covered up. We had 14 businesses in 2 complexes there in Georgetown and McMeekin Plaza that they either took copper off of them or took the whole unit and just tore it apart. So we had to replace everything on those.
Heating and air workers say it typically costs thousands of dollars to repair damage to an AC unit.
Many church leaders, business owners, and homeowners have had to pay that huge repair bill lately. Police say that copper thieves go after AC units thinking they can get a lot of money from what's inside. But is that copper just fool's gold? We wanted to see for ourselves just how much money copper in an AC unit is really worth. Dave Spencer has the results in a 27 News First investigation.
The sound of a functioning air conditioner, it seems to be music to a copper thief's ears. It's such a common occurrence, in fact, we wanted to know, 1, how the copper thief does it, and 2, how much money they're getting for that copper.
But there's 2 screws to hold this piece on.
Tony Chapman is in the AC repair business.
Then they'll take this piece here.
Today
and they'll take it somewhere else and cut the strips off of it.
Taking one apart.
You should have timed this.
To show us how in 5 minutes or less, your air conditioner can go from fully functional to a major drain on your wallet.
To replace the unit, you're talking about $3,000.
He's done a lot of replacing this summer. His work at churches where air conditioners are destroyed for metal has doubled compared to last year.
Major repairs, so you're talking about above $10,000.
While the owner of these ACs are stuck with the bill, this little more than a handful here is all the copper Chapman says the thieves get in return, leaving the owners with a useless mess and a phone call to make.
Then they'll ask us, their number one question is, well, how much money do they get out of that?
We have the same question.
Loaded up in the back of this van is everything a copper thief is after once they see your air conditioner. Now we're going to take it to a scrapyard and see what it's all worth.
With the van loaded with scrap metal, we headed over to a local scrapyard. Once there, the metal was put into a wheelbarrow and weighed. In order to get paid for our scrapped metal, they asked for a photocopy of a valid ID. After that, we took our receipt to a cashier and got the money. For a grand total of $3,000 worth of damage, we got $11.80 in profit. The scrapyard was paying $2.95 a pound that day, and we had 4 pounds of copper.
And police tell me in most cases, the small money that they do get from this air conditioner goes to support a drug habit. And the threat of getting only a misdemeanor is not acting as a deterrent. In Lexington, Dave Spencer, WKYT 27 News First.
Unbelievable, $11. Well, we should note that the scrap yard that we visited in that story did nothing wrong in buying our scrap metal. The company made a copy of a valid ID, which is required by Kentucky law.
10 years after his trial ended in a hung jury, a man now faces new charges for a deadly dorm fire. The Callaway grand jury indicted 35-year-old Jerry Walker on manslaughter, arson, assault, and wanton endangerment charges. Investigators say Walker set a fire at a Murrow State University dorm in 1998. The fire killed 19-year-old student Michael Minger. Police say an in-depth review of the case last year led to the indictment. A motion has been filed to dismiss charges against an Eastern Kentucky school district, the superintendent, and a football coach. The charges stem from an alleged hazing incident at Jenkins Independent last fall. Investigators say Superintendent Debbie Watts and football coach Larry Maggard did not report the incident. The judge said today he wanted to review the case more before ruling if the charges should be dismissed.
A Kentucky attorney connected to a high-profile case has lost his law license. Find out why the state Supreme Court disbarred him.
And later, the developers trying to reopen Kentucky Kingdom say they won't be able to do it next year. What they say is causing that delay.
Now, 27 First Alert weather.
Well, nice change of pace on this Thursday here in central and eastern Kentucky. It's good to see that sunshine back around the area. Unfortunately, it's not going to last long. Kind of clouding up in spots this afternoon, and even a few scattered showers and storms, especially across southern Kentucky. Had a little bit of activity early here in the Lexington area, at least within the last few hours. Live First Alert Defender, see that cluster that developed over the northern part of Tennessee, and it is slowly drifting off to the north and northeast. And down around Williamsburg and parts of Whitley County, and now more so south side of Barberville and into southern Knox County. A couple of heavier cells. You see the brighter colors there, and some thunder and lightning with that, maybe even some small hail just to the east of the interstate, and then stretching up to the western part of Clay County, and a few scattered showers southwest of Somerset and around Monticello there in Wayne County. Another area of rain on the backside of that boundary in the cooler air, and a lot of thick cloud cover associated with that, but we'll continue to see at least just scattered clouds, although with those storms down across southern Kentucky, maybe more overcast there. 77 Lexington, same story there in Jackson, also over to Frankfort. 75 London, 73 in Somerset. But look back to the west, underneath the clouds and rain, only in the 60s, and that's what we're looking at for the day tomorrow. 57 to start, but how about it? With that full sun this morning, really spiked our temperatures up in a hurry, and that front lagging back to the west just a bit, so that allowed us to reach all the way to 80 for the afternoon high, 77 and 55, the average high and low. But this front will finally get a kick eastward, a little secondary boundary and wave kind of scooting on through here, so that's going to mean some additional rain possible overnight and into the day tomorrow. It looks like the best organized stuff should come early in the day, but even east of Lexington could hang in with a few scattered showers during the afternoon as well. Maybe a few peaks of sunshine, and that's pretty much going to be the drill through the upcoming weekend. That upper low by this time tomorrow will be off to our northwest, and it will drift eastward in the coming days. Still a possibility of a few isolated showers for tailgating, but a lot of this stuff will begin to diminish each and every evening, so that will bode well for that 7 o'clock kickoff out of Commonwealth. Just cloudy, kind of coolish. 64 at kickoff, falling down just a few degrees, especially if it stays overcast during the course of the game. So that'll be good football weather for you as we welcome fall tomorrow. It's going to feel like it. Mid-60s through the weekend. I think a little better chance for organized rain Sunday, Monday, as that upper low kind of spins through here. We'll see a better chance then, and it'll be out of here by probably Monday night. So Tuesday and beyond, it is looking a whole lot better. So hopefully not a complete washout here. It doesn't appear that way on Saturday. Again, the chances a little more significant, I think, Sunday, Monday.
Not bad for you tailgaters.
Yeah.
Pretty manageable.
Keep the rain and Keep it out of the way.
And it's not going to be overly cold. I mean, to add insult to injury, if it was chilly, it would be even worse. But I think we'll do okay.
That's coming later.
Yeah, it will.
Let's not talk about it yet.
Okay.
Well, the city needs your help decorating downtown Lexington for Christmas.
Their request ahead on News First at 6. A Lexington attorney who worked on the class action lawsuit over the diet drug Fen-Phen has been permanently disbarred.
The Kentucky Supreme Court revoked David Helmer's law license today, citing, quote, serious ethical violations. Helmer's worked as an associate at William Gallion's law firm. Gallion, along with Shirley Cunningham Jr., are serving federal sentences after being convicted of bilking their clients out of millions from the Fen-Phen settlements. Developers trying to reopen a closed Kentucky amusement park have pushed back their target date by a year. Those developers say so far they have not been able to put together a public-private partnership needed to reopen Kentucky Kingdom. They're now shooting for 2013 instead of next year. Developers are also hoping the state will put up $20 million to help get the park open again.
A traffic alert if you're planning to go to a busy Lexington shopping center tonight. The main entrance of Lexington Green on Nicholasville Road has closed for some work. Mall officials have placed message boards in the area to remind shoppers. The main entrance is expected to reopen at 6 tomorrow morning. The back entrance to Lexington Green across from Fayette Mall is still open tonight. Do you have a large tree that would look good decked out in lights and decorations? Lexington city officials want to hear from you. The city wants 3 evergreen trees to be used around downtown as Christmas trees. They'll be placed at Triangle Park, in front of the KU building, and at 3rd and Midland. The trees will be removed at no cost to you. For more information on how you can do that, log on to our web channel, WKYT.com. It still seems a long way off from the holidays and Christmas, Amber, but got to think ahead on these things, I guess.
We will blink and it will be here.
Yes.
Well, we certainly hope this wasn't the case, but Brian, the Cats are a huge underdog against the Gators.
Yeah. Close to 3 touchdowns, and it should be that way. The Cats have not beaten those reptiles in a generation, but there is more than just a streak, which is worth mentioning. There's another much more positive streak to talk about. Sports is next. It's been a good news, bad news kind of week for the football Cats. The bad news, the Cats are coming off a loss to Louisville, only to have to face Florida this weekend. The good news, Joker Phillips says his Cats are having a great week of practice. Back to the bad news. Phillips saying defensive end Collins Ukwu could miss Saturday's game with the Gators. Ukwu has a sprained knee and will need an MRI. But Phillips delivering some good news again today. Linebacker and All-American candidate Danny Trevathan was back in practice and will play against the Gators. Trevathan sat out yesterday's workout with an assortment of bumps and bruises. The SEC's leading tackler has a streak of 12 consecutive games with double-digit tackles.
So it dates back to a lot of really good opponents. For a guy that's doing that, I mean, it's very impressive. And, you know, we need him to make more. You know, I hate to say it, but we need him to make more. But he's definitely doing his part as far as making plays and leading also.
It's been a good news, bad news type of sportscast. Let's go back to the bad news. The Gators come to Lexington a 20-point favorite and with one of the league's top-rated defenses. The Cats all say they need to get out of the gate quickly. One area the Cats look comfortable is in their hurry-up offense, which surprises even their coach.
I have no idea, because the one thing we've done poorly in practice is the 2-minute. It has been, you know, and that's I got no explanation for it, because we haven't done very well in the 2-minute drill, and we go in the game and done decent. No, I shouldn't say decent, really well. Scored a couple of times.
Friday evening, we will be at Fan Outfitters in Hamburg. A limited number of collectibles for the Florida game will be available beginning at 5 o'clock, and you can get them at both Fan Outfitter locations. Hope to see you there tomorrow. The UK women have released their basketball TV schedule, and the Cats will make 9 national television appearances this season. 4 of those games will appear on the ESPN family of networks, including a matchup at Notre Dame on December 18th and a February matchup at Mississippi State. Fox Sports will televise a pair of games, as will Comcast Sports South. Additional game times and the UK IMG TV schedule will be announced at a later date. If it weren't for bad news, the Bengals probably wouldn't be in the news at all. Two Bengals are the center of an investigation dealing with marijuana. Police confiscated a package containing 2.5 pounds of marijuana at the home of Bengals receiver Jerome Simpson. Another Bengal, Anthony Collins, was also at the home when a woman accepted the package, which came from California. Police searched the house and discovered 6 more pounds of pot, as well as drug paraphernalia. The players were detained, but not arrested, and they did practice on Wednesday. That's a look at sports. We will be right back.
Well, TG, this is not how we like to see our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday setting up, for sure.
Yeah, the timing could be better. Today was nice because we had that sunshine out there, although we've already seen a few scattered showers here in the Lexington area and down south. But with that upper low moving in, more clouds probably than sunshine and a little cooler, but we'll see some improvement in the next week.
Looks like the Secret Service, except for Amber, arrived here, these dark suits.
Exactly.
Got your piece in your ear.
This is 27 News First.
The Big Blue is back where it belongs.
Do it. Wildcats going back to an old Kentucky home, the Final Four.
After a 13-year drought, the Cats return to college basketball's main event.
We're here now and back in the Final Four. You know, we got Kentucky back.
Dancing and destruction on 1 Lexington Street will show you how some UK fans celebrated the big win.
From the streets around campus to Bluegrass Airport.
The game was amazing.
To fans in Newark, we have live team coverage as Cat fans celebrate UK's return to the top. A special Big Blue edition of 27 News First at 11 starts now. Oh my goodness, it is a scene that has not happened in Lexington in 13 years. Hundreds of Wildcat fans rushing the streets to celebrate after the Big Blue takes its NCAA road to the Final Four. Wow. And good evening. Welcome to this very special edition of 27 News First tonight. The wait for Big Blue fans is finally over. The Cats are back in the Final Four.
Yes, they are. A celebration 13 years in the making is in full swing. You are going to be looking at shortly a live picture at Bluegrass Airport, and there it is, where dozens of UK fans are waiting to welcome back the Cats from Newark. We will return live to the airport in just a moment, but look at that crowd. Craziness, to say the least, and they are so very excited here tonight.
And also on standby are Rob Bromley from Newark, New Jersey, where the Cats defeated North Carolina tonight, and Cheryl Glassford near the UK campus, where fans took to celebrate in the streets. But we begin our Big Blue coverage with how the Cats made it all happen. Brian Milam joins us now with highlights of the big game. And Brian, Kentucky led most of the game, but it was close to the very end.
Well, that's what you're going to get when you get the two winningest programs in college basketball meeting for a berth in the Final Four. If you did not see how it happened, if you're the one person that hasn't seen it, let's go ahead and take a look. Cats on the run early. Brandon Knight passes to DeAndre Liggins, and we are tied at 4. It would be back and forth for the next few minutes. This time, Knight breaks the deadlock with the straightaway 3 ball. The next time down, Knight misses. But Josh Harrelson is the right man, right spot for the follow. Then Big Josh gives UK a 5-point lead with the jumper. Darius Miller cracks the scoring column with the 3-pointer, 16-13 Cats, and it starts a Big Blue trend. Deron Lamb from his favorite spot, the corner 3. Lamb again, 3 from the wing. UK builds an 8-point lead, 30-22. Everybody getting in on the fun. Terrence Jones left all alone. Pulling the trigger, 33-25 Kentucky. Carolina counters with Tyler Zeller. The 7-footer gets free, slams it home, cutting the lead to 3. Speaking of 3, highlight sponsored by the number 3. Brandon Knight, 36-30 UK. Cats with in the scoring at the first half. Jones the trailer. He scores, draws the foul, 38-30 UK at the break. After Carolina cuts it to 4. Second half, DeAndre Liggins nails the 3. Brandon Knight's 3 gives UK a 10-point lead at 44-34. Darius Miller gives UK their biggest lead of the night on pure desire. The rebound, head fake, basket, foul, and 1. 47-36 Wildcats. Tar Heels on a 5-0 run, but Josh Harrelson changes that. The tough drive and the foul. UK just killing Carolina from deep. Knight again, the advantage back to 8, 59-51. But the Tar Heels come to life. The lob to John Henson and Roy Williams firing up the troops. Harrison Barnes is running, scoring. finishing, making it 65-63 Kentucky. Now tied at 67, Brandon Knight. He's done it all tournament, another 3. That makes it 70-67 Cats. A minute to go. Liggins, the block on one end. The other end, it's a 3. What a player. Does it on both sides. Look at the smile on Coach Cal's face. In 2 years, he has taken the Cats back to the Final Four. UK wins it 76-69. It is the 14th trip to the Final Four for the Kentucky Wildcats. So the Cats do it, this group of overachievers, back to the Final Four, 14th time. And Sam and Amber, this team is just absolutely amazing. They're moving on where they get a chance to do what was pretty much unthinkable just a few weeks ago, and that is possibly win a national championship. Over to you.
And what a smile from Coach Calipari.
I think that's my favorite moment from tonight is seeing him grab DeAndre and give him that big kiss. It was just great.
Pure joy. Certainly, it has been a thrilling road to the Final Four for these Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah, it took not 1 but 2 upsets to make it to this point. Our Rob Bromley is live in Newark, New Jersey with the team's reaction to this big victory. Hello to you, Rob.
Hello, Amber and Sam. The remarkable story of this Kentucky team goes on, and now it leads to the Final Four next Saturday night in Houston. Just take a look at the scene on the court early this evening as the Wildcats were presented the trophy for the East Region Championship. They came here and pulled 2 upsets. They upset Ohio State, the #1 ranked team in the country. They upset North Carolina tonight. They were a 4-point underdog. And now they move on to the Final Four. They cut down the nets at the Prudential Center. A feeling of what they've accomplished is fantastic.
It means a lot just to be a part of this group, to send, Kentucky back to the Final Four. It's such a big tradition, and it means a lot to, come together, have a family, and be able to do this with them.
We're back in the Final Four where a lot of people think Kentucky should be, and, a lot of people doubted us, and, we proved a lot of people wrong, and we're on cloud 9. I think everybody right now is floating right now.
I just can't believe it. This is my first Final Four. I never grew up looking at this kind of NCAA basketball. I'm just happy to be in this situation.
And I told you that I believe in this team, and I like this team, and I kept saying it, and everybody thought I liked my team. They didn't believe in themselves as much as I believed in them. They didn't believe in each other as much as I believed. Now they do. Now they know, man, he's not BSing us. This stuff is real.
Well, it's an honor to play for Kentucky, for them recruiting me. It's an honor to be in the Final Four my freshman year, so I'm just so excited. I'm just going to celebrate tonight and tomorrow get back to business.
It took a long time for us to develop the trust that we have now. We definitely trust each other more than anything. Like I said, we're confident in each other in every single point that we have. So, it works out for the best.
76-69, Kentucky wins it over North Carolina. First time the Cats have ever defeated the Tar Heels in a regional final to move on to the Final Four. They had lost in 1977 and in 1995. Now it's on to Houston, Connecticut, next Saturday night in the national semifinal. Sam, Amber, back to you.
All right, Rob, thank you so much. As you might imagine, this town is rocking tonight back here in Kentucky. UK fans want to make sure that the team gets a warm welcome home.
Many of those fans have gathered right now to greet the Cats when they get back to Lexington at Bluegrass Airport. Our Gabriel Rojas is live at the airport where fans are eagerly awaiting the team's arrival. Good evening, Gabriel.
We've been here for welcomes before, but this crowd is one of a kind. Take a look at these fans. They started pouring in here shortly after the game ended to welcome home the Wildcats after a hard-fought victory. It may be late, it may be cold, but this has the energy of a rock concert. While some fans huddled in their cars to conserve their energy for the arrival, many more are crowded next to the fence outside the runway, waiting for a glimpse of the team playing. We've seen the whole spectrum from younger fans to veteran fans. Some say they were here back in 1998, the last time the Cats played in the Final Four, and welcoming the team back as they prepare for a historic game has become a proud tradition.
But yes, it's been 13 years, so it's about time. So we're here to celebrate.
We don't need confidence. We just need jorts. Who's in the house tonight?
And who is in the house tonight?
UK is in the house tonight.
We're just here to support the team and just let them know how proud we are for these guys, how hard they've worked this year and to accomplish what they've done this year. So it says a whole lot for these people to come out here tonight and welcome them home.
Fans say this is just the beginning. With 2 tough games behind them, they're ready to cheer their team home to a national championship. We're live in Lexington. Gabriel Rojas, WKYT 27 News First.
And we expect the plane to arrive within very soon, so we should go back to that live.
Time keeps changing just a little, but they'll be here.
And that little fan, you laughed too when she said jorts. If you're new to Kentucky basketball, that's Josh Harrelson.
Yes, yes, we need him.
Well, chaos erupted in downtown Lexington tonight just moments after this big win.
Yeah, Wildcat fans were simply too excited to stay inside. Hundreds spilled into the streets near campus for a wild celebration. Our Cheryl Glassford is live at South Limestone and Pine Street, where things have quieted down just a little bit. Sheer ruckus earlier, Cheryl.
Well, I'll tell you, Amber, it was absolutely nuts down here earlier tonight, and it has quieted down quite a bit, but we're still hearing cheering. People are still honking their horns as they drive by, from burning couches to people taking to the streets of Lexington. It has been a wild night of celebration. When the buzzer sounded for a UK win, the roar of Wildcat fans was deafening.
This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I've been here for 3 years. I've been waiting for this my whole life. This is awesome. Go Cats. UConn's going down.
Smoke and flames on State Street drew crowds after furniture was set on fire.
We looked from our back house that was right there, and we saw fire, and we were like, we were jumping over fences and stuff.
The flames were extinguished quickly, but not the excitement among fans. And further downtown at Limestone and Maxwell, hundreds blocked traffic.
And this is just absolute madness.
Drivers struggled to make their way through the wild celebration.
That's madness! This is nuts! We're so happy we won! I don't know what to say. I got on a car!
Police worked to maintain control of the fans, who were growing in numbers by the minute. Eventually, authorities blocked off the stretch of road to allow people to celebrate safely, and cheering erupted over the Cats making it to the Final Four. And there are still quite a few fans out here in downtown Lexington tonight celebrating the big win. However, they are staying on the sidewalks now, so the roads have since reopened. Live in Lexington, Cheryl Glassford, WKYT 27 News First.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
And we were just saying they didn't even win the championship yet. This is what happens when you get to the Final Four in Lexington.
And that could come later, possibly.
Very well could.
Priceless, incredible, exciting. All words Big Blue fans use to describe the game.
Our Elizabeth Doris had caught up with them, and they watched the game in person in Newark. She's live in Newark, New Jersey, with their thoughts on this thrilling win. Elizabeth, they saw 2 great games over the weekend. They beat Ohio State, and then it was North Carolina. 2 huge wins.
Sam, some of the arguably best basketball that any of us on this crew have ever seen in person, and certainly fans got quite a lot of bang for their buck if they made it all the way up here to Newark, New Jersey, although a lot of fans say nothing will beat making it down to Houston for the Final Four, and they say they're already planning those trips.
North Carolina fans poured out of the Prudential Center after the Wildcats clinched the ticket to the Final Four. Wildcat fans lingered inside to celebrate the victory with the team.
Unbelievable. I've lost my voice. It's gone. It's completely gone, but great. Finally going back to the Final Four. Great time, great atmosphere.
Brandon Knight hitting all those threes and everybody playing big.
The team's
great.
Great together, and they're gelling at the right time, and they're going to be dangerous in the Final Four.
Deron Lamb.
Why is Deron Lamb your favorite player?
Because he's really good.
We have never been so happy. It has been a 12-year drought. I grew up in Lexington. We live outside of Washington, D.C., took the train up, and we're back in after a long drought, and we couldn't be more pleased with the way the Cats played and the way Coach Cal had them prepared.
The game was amazing.
Fantastic.
11 straight hours of driving.
Yes.
And it was $800.
Yes.
It's a MasterCard commercial.
It was
priceless,
fantastic.
baby. Priceless. Priceless.
Priceless.
It was incredible. Came down here Friday, and we saw, we won. Going to the Final Four, I don't think any of us saw it coming, but it is incredible. Amazing.
A lot of folks really feeling incredible tonight. A lot of Wildcat fans say they're not going to be sleeping at all tonight. They're simply too excited, too pumped up after watching those two amazing games here in Newark. And again, everybody making those plans to get down to Houston for the Final Four. Reporting live in Newark, Elizabeth Dorsett, WKYT 27 News First.
Thank you, Elizabeth. This will be UK's 14th trip to the Final Four that ranks 4th all time. UK's first Final Four came all the way back in 1942, and before this season, the most recent was in 1998, also in Texas. 7 of those Final Fours ended in championships for the Big Blue. The Cats won 2 titles in the 1940s, 2 in the 50s, 1 in the 70s, and 2 in the 1990s.
Well, UConn is no stranger to the Cats. The teams have met a few times, including once already this season. We'll take a look at the history between the teams. That's coming up next. And fans flooded local stores this evening in search of items commemorating the big win. Next, we'll go live to Fan Outfitters, where Final Four shirts quickly sold out tonight. All right, there are hundreds of UK fans waiting patiently right now out at Bluegrass Airport, waiting for the team to arrive. A plane has landed. We're not sure if it's the team's plane just yet or not. We are still waiting for word on that. We just found out it is the team's plane, and these folks have been out here now for hours, Sam.
And they'll wait as long as they have to. You know, Amber, this team has done a lot of things that people didn't expect, and one of them is getting to this point, and I think a lot of people really believe that they can make it all the way, and the door opens up, and let's see who's going to step out first, because you can hear the crowd. Let's listen to the crowd for just a second. Talking just a moment ago about how the lives have changed, in particular the veteran players who sat on the bench last year, and you know, Josh Harrelson barely played last year and has become really the immovable force.
Oh my
team.
goodness, he's playing like a man possessed sort of right now, and it's so much fun to watch. And as we're talking about, I think that's been what makes it even more infectious for all the fans, just seeing how passionate they are right now in their play.
And forget the seeding, because look, there are no number 1 seeds left. There are not even any number 2 seeds left. And there's Coach Calipari. And, you know, the number 4 seed, a lot of people didn't like the idea that Kentucky had been seeded number 4, but right now it really doesn't matter. They're in the Final Four.
No, it doesn't. A lot of people making those plans to Houston, but a lot of fans not worried about Houston right now. They just want to see this team get off the plane, and they just want to show them all the love that they can. Coach Cal there and his son, and there you see his wife Ellen coming down off the plane, back home in the Bluegrass and headed to the Final Four.
Coach Calipari, now didn't you know, Josh Harrelson with the net around his neck and the Final Four trophy had a big smile on his face coming down, affectionately known by all the fans as Jorts.
He's quickly become sort of a cult hero, if you will, and there is the rest of the team. Look at those smiles on their faces as they come home to all of these fans.
Let's listen again for just a second. This is special. Basketball was big in Kentucky, folks. Here we are at midnight, and they're having a party at Bluegrass Airport.
What a proud moment for these guys, and to be able to be so close to all of these fans, and just literally to stand in front of them and look at them. They're just taking in the moment too, taking some pictures and taking his, I'm sure, cell phone video. Just an amazing time for these guys and for all of these folks out there.
Coach Cal had posted on his Facebook just a little while ago that he hoped all the fans back home were being respectable, and I guess except for a couple of couches being burned, everything went pretty well tonight. But it is a special time when the fans, and you know, a lot of these people, Amber, probably don't even have tickets at Rupp Arena. These are the folks that are out here at midnight with a face-to-face with the players, and and loving every second of it.
Well, and I think that's what's so special about the University of Kentucky and basketball, and being able to come out to an airport at midnight on a night where a lot of folks got to get up and go to work in the morning, kids got to go to school, but this is so very important for them that they can get just this up close. And think about all the people that aren't up close to them, all those people way, way in the back. It's still so much fun for them.
And it's also a time when you get to see that, yes, these guys are 18, 19, 20 years old. They're college students, and the smiles on their face really, I think, tell it all, because it's a joyous moment, and I think they're just loving it, which is, it's a fun thing to see that they're enjoying this moment as well, as much as the fans are.
Yeah, and they have been so good about saying that, you know, when they're in their, you know, on the podium and talking about all the fans that follow them, and I think sometimes they're still taken back by the kind of rock star status of all of it, but this certainly proves it tonight, that's for sure.
So a blend of the young and the old. Brandon Knight extending the school freshman scoring record. He's now got 640 points, passes John Wall, and then we've been talking so much about, and as Coach Cal has, about the force that Josh Harrelson has been, and DeAndre Liggins, how much he's changed his game. They have absolutely stepped up and are playing incredibly right now. Josh Harrelson playing incredibly against guys that, you know, arguably to other people are better than him, but he is saying, nuh-uh, I'm going to step in and take him to the boards, and he certainly has these last couple of games. Well, Texas will be familiar territory for some people because it was the last national championship that Kentucky won in San Antonio. Tubby Smith's Cats winning that game, and so Kentucky is returning later this week to the state where they won the last national championship, not in San Antonio this time, but in Houston. And you know how confident these guys are, but they're going to also be playing a team, I think, Connecticut, with a chip on their shoulder too. They've come a long way in their, their run to get to the Final Four. So it again could be a tough game. Look at George. He's going to be over that fence shortly. I'm seeing it coming. If he can get over that fence, he just may do it, that's for sure. Yeah, this is going to be a rematch that fans surely want to see. A lot of people have been talking about that game, and of course, when this was a possibility, they were ready for it. Look at all of those folks just running to him. I think John, and maybe Brian can, Milam's standing by over here, he can confirm this. I think Josh only played like 88 minutes. I mean, that's a number that comes to mind last year. I mean, it was very little that he played last year. And then he had that famous tweet that got him in trouble with John Calipari, and John Calipari said, listen, you're going to do 30 minutes of extra workout and work your way out of this. And he has emerged into this force. So much talk about how his body started to change, and I think then that's when he started to really say, oh, okay, you know, I can play, and he has come so far this season. Of course, these guys are on an adrenaline high right now. I'm not sure how much rest is going to be for these guys, because eventually they've got to get down to business and look at the next person on the list, which is UConn, and get set for that. But I'm sure they're going to enjoy this night, and I'm sure it'll be hard for these guys to sleep as well, for all of the rest of us and these fans out there. And as you're getting ready to plan your week, again, the game will be Saturday night. I believe it's the second game at 8:45 here on 8:50-ish, yes, on WKYT CBS, and we'll be reporting live from Houston beginning later this week. All right. Well, there you are, looking at a live picture of the Kentucky Wildcats returning home. They are now headed to the Final Four. They are heading home from Newark, and now it's on to out to Houston to play in the Final Four. A lot of fun for these guys, and all those fans so patiently waited to see them, and they've gotten to see them tonight. Back with more of our special coverage of 27 News First as the Cats land at Bluegrass Airport on their way to the Final Four. We'll be right back.
It is a quiet place here tonight, and tomorrow we will be in the thick of things, hopefully getting ready to celebrate a win. That's what we're hoping. And the interesting thing about these two teams, the players respect each other, and they're expecting a tough game too. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm not an expert on these things, but I do think it's going to be a close game. Your prediction, there you go. With less than 24 hours until game time, the Cats have certainly turned their focus to the UConn Huskies. That they have. Brandon Fisher standing by live here in Houston with much more on the game, the players, and the coaches. Brandon?
Well, good evening, Sam and Amber. By this time tomorrow night, we will have a great idea if the Kentucky Wildcats can get past the UConn Huskies for a chance to play for a national title. Now, no doubt, these two teams know each other well, but this go-around, it's going to be a whole new ball game. The Cats and the Huskies have been trying to enjoy themselves with a goal in mind.
First day we got here, we were having fun, went to the mall for a little bit and just hung out. Yesterday, got a little more serious, and today I think everybody's got the same mindset. We're ready to play. We've been here long enough. Let's throw the ball up.
Definitely. We all pretty excited, and we can't wait for the game.
UK is riding a 10-game winning streak. UConn has won 9 in a row. They're impressive streaks that you have to respect.
They got a great streak going too, and the biggest tournament isn't a cupcake walk, so they're doing a great job also.
I'm pretty sure that everybody is thinking about that one goal, but in order to get to that goal, you have to win games. So you got to try to put that behind you.
What's nice for the Cats is they feel more at ease.
I'd say it's a difficult job to have that pressure as a freshman, and it's just a lot easier when you got older guys like we do that are stepping up right now.
And with the Cats' great inside and outside game, the Huskies know they will have to play their best.
I'm just stopping the penetration and stopping the dribble handoffs, but I think as a unit we play really good 5-as-1 defense. We help each other. A lot of our defense is predicated on helping, and if somebody gets beat, someone's there, and if the big step up, another guard's he's in the sink, he's going to help him. So, and then once we get the rebound, we out running. We like one of the best fast break teams in the country. I thought we played great defense against those guys in Hawaii, and hopefully we can get that same intensity and play that same defense and execute that game plan again. I think great things should happen for us.
Well, there's no doubt the Kentucky Wildcats are playing their best ball of the year. But I tell you what, in their first meeting, Kentucky was ice cold. Brandon Knight didn't have a whole lot of points. Josh Harrelson was held scoreless, while Kemba Walker went off for 29 points. And Oriaki dominated the paint with a double-double. They went on to win the Maui Invitational. This go-around, let's see if it can be different, if Kentucky can move on to that national title game. Of course, we'll have a lot more with UK and UConn coming up later in sports. Sam and Amber, back to you.
It is a big game in a big city. We spent 2 days here, Amber, and we know that there's a lot to do in town. If you can't find a way to have fun in Houston, Texas, you're in trouble. So UK fans, there's a lot of ways to enjoy yourself here in the Lone Star State.
It's Final Four Eve. Fans are out having a great time tonight. I was out in the middle of it all, and I tell you what, ask any cab driver in town, and they say, man, you basketball fans are wearing us out, but they love it because there's so many of them. That is right. So I went down to where the big concert series is going on downtown to catch up with some Wildcat fans to see how they're spending their Final Four Eve. From taking in the Houston Rockets game at the Toyota Center to rocking out for free with a block party in Discovery Park in downtown, Wildcat fans are living it up on Final Four Eve.
Well, we just came out to check out what's going on. We weren't really sure what we could get into.
And there is plenty here at the Discovery Concert Series for fans. We found UK students Trey Prather and Nick Cottle taking a break from class and taking it all in.
It's awesome. As soon as we got the Final Four, I was like, we got to go. So that's what we're doing here.
The last time the Cats were in the Final Four, these guys were just 7.
And so we've been waiting for 13 years for this to happen, and it happened, and he won the student lottery, and he's like, I need someone to go with me. So I was like, I'll do what I can to go with you, and I pulled it together.
For fans who have made this long trek to the Lone Star State, they are enjoying the blue carpet rolled out for them and hope to be right back here tomorrow night partying it up after a win.
Just because we think it could happen, we think we could win.
I think we're going to win. Very confident.
And all day we've been asking people where they were 13 years ago, and it was so neat to run into those 2 UK students. One of them won the lottery, asked his best friend. He said, look, you've got to help me get here. So they made it happen. They took a flight. They were 7 years old the last time the Cats won a national championship. So I kind of truly saw the spectrum today of how special it is for people out here.
It is special.
Amber, we're here at the corner of Lakeshore and Fontaine, where you can see there's still a lot of police activity where they're investigating a shooting that happened just within the last hour. And take a look at some of this video that we shot earlier. We were the only news crew there to catch police taking one suspect into custody. Now, they tell us that this is one of 2 suspects that they believe are involved in this shooting. So far, we have a report that there is 1 victim. He's a 21-year-old male who suffered a gunshot wound to the head. He has been taken to UK hospital. We're not sure what his condition is at this point, but they are still looking for a second suspect who they believe is involved in this shooting. As you see there is 1 suspect who is in custody. Still a lot to figure out at this point. This just happening all within the last hour. It's still obviously in the early stages of this investigation. Still a lot of work left to be done here. We will continue to monitor the progress and bring you more details as they become available. For now, we are live in Lexington. Gabriel Rojas, WKYT 27 News First.
Welcome to the beautiful rolling fields of the Ward Hill Estate in historic Georgetown, Kentucky. This afternoon, old-time professional baseball returns to the region where horses and bourbon abound. Today, the Norwood Highlanders meet the Rising Sun Bell Rivers.
Fine ginger, sir.
Captaining the Highlanders is the old veteran, Colonel Jim Mattingly.
Pick it third.
As the Bell Rivers put their faith in the school teacher, Mike Seipel.
Well struck.
Just started with a love of playing baseball and a history of baseball, and got a bunch of guys together that think the same way, and now we play other teams that think the same way.
It's baseball, played like it was in the 1860s.
Oh, what you say, gang?
Vintage league baseball.
A lot of fun. Good fellas, having a good time. Good sportsmanship.
Keep that up. I'm not going to let me drink your beer. Damn, that's boy, Bill. That's trouble. That's trouble.
The first thing you notice are the authentic period uniforms.
There you go.
And they're pretty cool.
Yeah, the uniforms are sharp and what all, but cool they aren't. They're made out of wool, and it's going to be 90 degrees today, so there won't be much cool to it.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine how hot they are.
I think they're terribly hot out there in those uniforms.
We play by the 1860 rules, no gloves. The umpire makes all the calls. If he's not sure if there was an out or safe, he'll go to the fans, which they call cranks, and he'll ask the crowd if there was out or safe. Come on, drop. Come on.
For the baseball fans,
yeah, rookie, yeah.
On and off the field,
Unlucky, Scooter, unlucky.
It's a way of keeping America's pastime alive in its purest form.
It's really, really awesome. I've never seen anything like this, and it's really fun. I enjoy it.
This is baseball when it was invented, basically. No prima donnas, no $1 million salaries, and no gloves.
Despite a spirited battle from the Bell Rivers, the Highlanders sipped the champagne tonight, winning 13-12.
It's guys playing ball when it was played for exercise and fun. You get a bunch of guys, go to a hayfield and play some ball.
Dog Team 4, we have audible.
We're in a valley between two ridges with a little creek.
Just as the sun was going down on day 4 of the search for 25-year-old Ryan Larkey,
they found a black car just driving, and he is possibly alive.
Paramedics on ATVs rushed to where he'd been found not far from his campsite.
I don't think for a second they thought that they would ever see him again.
Injured but alive, surviving through heavy rain and temperatures in the 30s, wearing just jeans and a t-shirt and one shoe, he was brought to safety.
And I kept yelling, and we kept walking in that direction, and then we finally heard, "Yeah, help," and then he said, ran right to him, found him then.
With a search dog named Lisa guiding the way, 2 rescuers had heard Larkey's cries for help. He was near a cliff's edge. He told them he'd been surviving on creek water.
He said he heard us, he thought he was hallucinating, and I said, I'm sure you probably have been hallucinating for the past few days in the conditions you've been in, but he couldn't believe that we were actually there, but I mean, he's complete exhaust.
Then a phone call to family members, bringing news they'd hoped for.
I tell you, I talked to him, he is coherent, seems to be in really good shape for what he's been through. Ryan is right now leaving the scene. He is going to be flown to UK hospital.
We found him and he's alive. That's the best feeling in the world.
Many believe that it's going to take years for this community to recover from the devastation caused by the tornado that only lasted a matter of seconds. But today, a group of Kentuckians arrived here in Joplin, delivering both supplies and goodwill to start that healing process.
This is their kitchen.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you witness the devastation.
When you drive through something like that, you know there was children there, and there's people who's lost their life, and there's nothing that can be done about it.
Yet these people say they can deliver hope when it seems little else survived.
Just to realize that so many people that have worked all their life to have their homes and to have what they have now have nothing.
Christina Carl knows something about loss.
Been on and off the streets for a while.
Homeless herself, she and 9 others made the 10-hour trip to Joplin, hoping to pay forward some of the goodwill they've received over the years.
Maybe I can say something to them that'll put a smile on their face or help clean up, some of the stuff.
Job 1 was unloading the tractor trailer full of supplies donated by giving Kentuckians.
You need plenty of toilet paper.
Praise the Lord, God is good. Thomas Cottle is on his first disaster relief trip, yet he knows the power of the faith community in crisis times.
When there's a need in this country, you know, it just never fails. We reach out and help one another.
He'll spend 10 days cleaning up, whether that means just throwing stuff away, helping someone rebuild their home.
The sheriff just come up and said that they're going to bulldoze all the way down, so we got to go get a new assignment.
All done to deliver a little assurance that life can be rebuilt.
I just have to take the word to them, you know, and just plant the seed and love them with it, you know, and just let them know this is the world we live in, and there's nothing we can do about it. But, you know, we need to be ready to see Christ.
You saw the cross there that somehow survived the devastation when the rest of the church was completely destroyed. That cross, still standing, has become somewhat of a symbol as this community tries to recover. In Joplin, Missouri, Phil Pendleton, WKYT, 27 News First.
Phil, it is devastating. I'm wondering, you've seen the tornado devastation in Alabama, and now you've seen it in Missouri. Can you compare those two tragedies?
It's a lot different in some respects and similar in others. The destruction is the same, but from a scope, it is much more widespread in Alabama, much more contained here. Keep in mind the destruction here in Joplin, 6 miles long, about a half-mile wide, just utter devastation. A third of this town, Sam, is going to have to be rebuilt.
Forget about the snow and cold out there. We have a way for you to zip right into spring.
Yep, Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck is at this year's Kentucky Sport Boat and Recreation Show, where they're offering a new thrill. How about it, T?
Hey guys, how's it going? You kind of sail across Rupp Arena any old day. We're here live at the Kentucky Sport Boat and Recreation Show down here at Rupp Arena in Heritage Hall, and this is one of the big things, the big attractions here this weekend. It is the zip line, and I'm telling you, it is sweeping the nation. And we're going to talk to Rob Nickel coming up here in just a second. But first, let's talk a little weather here. Live First Alert Defender, Kentucky's most powerful live Doppler radar. Nothing going on. Everything looking good out there. Let's go! Let's go!
He dribbles out front. Ball stripped away by Knight, racing to the other end for dunks. Davis, and a ball stolen by Jones as they tried to kick it back to Hines. Dunk at the other end for Kentucky.
Thousands of men will be diagnosed this year with prostate cancer. Like me, they'll face an important decision on treatment. Almost 6 weeks ago, I underwent surgery. And tonight, we take you into the operating room. And my hope is this will encourage everyone to pay closer attention to their health and never, never give up. The day before surgery, routine questions need to be answered about my health.
I'll have a seat in there and they'll be with you shortly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to be doing your consult for surgery.
My only surgery in 54 years was 5 years ago, a hernia. I've had no symptoms, no pain or soreness leading up to the cancer diagnosis.
Healthiest patient I have seen in months, possibly, if you're not on any meds.
Oh, you make me feel good. I'm here because during an annual prostate exam, my PSA level jumped considerably, and a biopsy found cancer. Now, normally prostate cancer is slow growing, but I have a family history of it. My father died of prostate cancer, and my cancer cells could be more aggressive.
Most men diagnosed with prostate cancer do not need immediate treatment. Ready to get this thing over with?
Dr. Joseph Smith Jr. is my surgeon.
Your age, your health, and the characteristics of your cancer are such that yours is not one which is likely to behave itself your entire life, and I think early treatment is going to give you the best chance of cure.
The morning of surgery, my wife and I are anxious. Dr. Smith, using the Da Vinci robot, will make 6 incisions in my stomach area and remove the prostate.
Take good care of him.
A walnut-sized organ right below the bladder. It's delicate work because the prostate is surrounded by nerves. The goal is to remove the prostate and the cancer, but not disrupt the nerves.
If we cure you, which we plan to do, we'll know for sure that we have. We'll get the pathology reports, which should look very, very favorable. Your PSA should drop to undetectable, so you get a great deal of security in knowing it's taken care of.
Surgery should take about 2.5 hours. Dr. Smith is not standing over me. He's at the controls of the robot in a corner of the operating room. The robot gives him a better view inside my body and helps him make those very precise cuts.
Back behind the prostate are these structures called the seminal vesicles, which we need to get removed along with the prostate.
The surgery is wrapping up, and the moment of truth is here. My wife will get the news first.
All right, things went great. Really, really well. Yeah. Actually, really well. Couldn't be more pleased. So nothing that looked like cancer outside the prostate. Obviously, that's the best news. But it really did look like it's going to all be contained. So we'll have him back doing triathlons in no time flat here, huh?
Thank God.
You'll get later. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad it went so well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
My wife and I are a major step closer to beating cancer. A week after surgery, after pathology tests were done on my prostate, Dr. Smith told me it looked like the cancer had not spread beyond the prostate. Next week, I will have my PSA level tested again, and it should be near 0, undetectable. If it is, I'll be tested every 6 months for 2 years to make sure the cancer is gone. And to all of you who have written, emailed, and called, thank you. And to all of the men out there, don't be afraid to take care of your health.